The 51st Guard was a mercenary unit formed in 3050 by the mech warrior named Arya Collins from among the shattered remnants of various other entities fleeing Rasahagian space ahead of the clan invasion. Though Collins had nearly a decade of service as a mech warrior, first within an official military structure and later as a paid merc jockey in another mercenary company, the 51st Guard was her first attempt at running her own show. The 51st Guard's mission statement included the clear intent to run an ethical organization that only accepted jobs that had a clear purpose of protecting civilian populations. Collins was recorded in an interview in 3051 saying that the horrors of war were far too often dealt to civilians who had no hand in the conflicts started by cruel and greedy people hundreds of light years away. The Guard's employment history with both House Steiner and the Draconis Combine does support their stated goals. Often the Guard took lower-paying jobs on worlds considered less important because no other mercenaries would. Being a small mercenary company with only a handful of light mechs, Collins turned the unit into a capable and nimble organization. Known for excelling in the urban environment, the light mechs of Collins' Lance were able to turn the tables on much larger foes. Action reports include statements of shock that the blue and gray mechs were able to appear in one place, fire, and then be striking from another direction faster than it seemed possible. When the clan invasion of the Intersphere worlds resumed in 3051, all but the Smoke Jaguars were quick to start claiming new territory. When Comstar notified Theodore Kurita that the delay was only a prelude to a strike on Luthien, the capital world of the Draconis Combine, the entire apparatus of House Kurita was stunned. As Gunjo no Kanre, Deputy of Military Affairs, Theodore Kurita was honest concerning the grave threat that they were facing. He said, "Nothing can stop the clans once they have determined where they will strike. We lack the naval assets to challenge the clan invasion fleet before it arrives in system. Our only hope is to find the best way to drive the invaders off Luthien once they arrive." Plans were hastily created to do exactly that, using whatever resources were immediately available and any forces that could make it to Luthien in time to make a difference. The 51st Guards ended up being in the wrong place at the right time, working a garrison job in a nearby system. Through a proxy representative within the First Sword of Light, the 51st Guard raced to Luthien to add their lance to the garrison units being formed. Collins and her other mech warriors had seen firsthand the damage the clans could cause and were eager to help to do their part. Outside Amori, a seaport on the Seio Sea, the 51st Guard would be tested against clan forces for the first time. The job of defending the city fell to Tai Jeremy Velk, a veteran of the Fourth Succession War and War of 3039. Along with Velk's first Amori militia, the 51st Guards would run up against the 22nd Freebirth Cluster led by Star Captain Edna. The Smoke Jaguar forces believed that the militia defending the marshy area outside the city would fall quickly under the clan assault. And from the start it seemed to be true, as the militia and the 51st Guard mechs fell back toward the city across two bridges over the Shaidan River. When the clan forces followed, the bridges were destroyed by Velk's forces, which trapped the Jaguars against the river. Faced with the inevitable destruction of her now pinned units, Star Captain Edna surrendered. The mechs of the 51st Guard suffered only minor damage and were able to quickly prepare for further action. They would be needed in the battle outside of Jurishi City at the sprawling industrial complex of the Luthien Armor Works. This was the 51st Guard's ideal environment. Faulty Comstar intel led the Smoke Jaguars to believe the complex wouldn't be well defended, and sent only one striker star of mechs to destroy it. The clan mechs advanced into a chaotic killing zone where the industrial environment wreaked havoc on sensors and turned the battle into a line-of-sight-only affair. Arya Collins and the rest of her lance pestered the medium and heavy clan Omni-mechs so effectively that eventually the clan star was forced to fall back, with two of their mechs destroyed in the process. Following the Battle of the Armor Works, Collins sought orders to participate in the battle for the Imperial City, but it was increasingly clear that the House Kurita military wasn't keen on the presence of yet another small mercenary company in addition to the substantial forces of the Wolf's Dragoons and Kellhounds. When the final Battle of Luthien took place in the Kadoguchi Valley, the 51st Guard was relegated to guard duty in a backwater spaceport. They sat in their battle mechs and listened to the comms as the Kellhounds, Wolf's Dragoons, and Combine units crushed the last of Clan Smoke Jaguar and Nova Cat. Collins was angry that her unit was treated poorly, but things would only get worse as they were quickly shuffled off-planet as quietly as possible. Months later, reports of the Battle of Luthien were widespread, but none of them carried a single mention of the 51st Guard or their contribution to the fight. When Collins saw that they had been written out of the official history of the Battle of the Luthien Armor Works, She flew into a rage and promised to never work for the Draconis Combine again. Even years later, Collins insisted to anyone who would listen that the record needed to be corrected, but it wasn't. The 51st Guard continued to work for House Steiner, but it was reportedly wiped out in the first few weeks of the Federated Commonwealth Civil War when Davion forces turned on them during a training exercise. The deaths of Collins and her mech warriors went largely undocumented, and it was just one tiny example of allies turning foe across the Federated Commonwealth. Their legacy is one of steadfast loyalty to the protection of civilians and non-combatants, and for unsung bravery in the fight against the clans. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little piece of fan fiction history. Before you yell at me over it, this is all unofficial, and I make no claim to have any impact on Battletech lore. If you want to see more, I'd recommend the Why We Love Lasers video, linked above in the little thumbnail thingy. If you want to support the channel, the Ko-Fi link is in the comments. You're awesome, take care, and go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.